I'm in a New York state of mind, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel, and big news coming out of Boston tonight. As the New York Knicks, the third seed in the Eastern Conference, they marched into Boston tonight and they kept their unbeaten road record intact in these playoffs as they roared back from being as much as down as by 20 points with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter to snatch victory from the home team, Boston Celtics, in overtime, and take a 1-0 lead in the Eastern Conference semifinals and really throw this series wide open. As everybody knows, the Knicks came into this series, they were decided underdogs based on the odds in the series. Some people are even saying they might get swept. Some people are saying they might lose in 5. They'd be good to take it to 6. But they came in tonight and they really showed the folks that they meant business, as early on, they looked like they might get swept or even bounced in 5. As Boston, New York seemed a bit tentative. It's not like they were playing bad, but they were just, doing a lot of silly things. They were fouling a lot. Karl Anthony Towns, he got into early foul trouble. After getting off to a good start, initially hitting 3 of his first 4 shots, he got into early foul trouble, had to go to the bench. They brought in Mitchell Robinson. Boston started to apply the Hacker Robinson strategy, and it was working because they really struggled to hit free throws tonight. I mean, overall, they were like 17 or 31 for the game. They're barely over 50%. And, it was really a disappointing effort at the line. Mitch Robinson missed a lot of free throws. But nonetheless, during the time that he was on the court, he had the highest plus minus for any one of the Knicks players because in his 21 minutes, as they were really leaking a lot on the boards, except for when he was in the game. At one point, they were down by like 16 boards. Boston was 16 on the boards. And then the Knicks started to really board better until they actually, at one point, they had closed the gap to like a -5 difference on the boards. But then they started to struggle down the stretch, and in overtime, they gave up a lot of offensive rebounds, which was very sad to see. But as the second half started, they were down 16. And then Boston, they started to make a nice little run and actually push the lead up to 20 with about 5 minutes left. And at this point, it seemed like the Knicks were gonna, lose another quiet game, having lost all of their meetings with the Boston Celtics in the regular season by an average of over 16 points a game. It seemed like this one was heading in pretty much the same direction. But then some way, somehow, the Knicks defense, I think, was the catalyst for their run, as they held the Boston Celtics to only 23 points in the third quarter. And that was really a big part of what happened there. And they also held them to only 16 points in the fourth quarter. So in all, they held them to 39 points in the second half, which is really superb. And I think that was the catalyst for their run. And then their captain, Jalen Brunson, he really started to get it cooking early in the fourth quarter, hit some big threes. And at one point, it seemed like he was just going to hit shot after shot. But then he went cold in the latter part of the fourth quarter, had a couple of turnovers as well. And in overtime, he didn't make a shot. But the others really stepped up. OG Anunoby, he hit 6 big 3-pointers. This was his best game of the playoffs. He had 29 points. Was excellent on defense as well. And Mikal Bridges, who really struggled on offense, really struggled. He only made 3 shots, but one of his biggest shots actually came in overtime to open up a 5-point lead for them, which was a huge shot. But one thing about Bridges, I will say this, his defense was superb, including that game-sealing steal against Jaylen Brown. But all throughout the game, his defense has been really consistent and really tough. So that's good to see, that the fact that he's struggling offensively has not affected his defense. I'm sure Knicks fans will be happy about that. So kudos to him for that. Karl Anthony Towns had a quiet night eventually because he was struggling so much in foul trouble. Eventually, he only finished with like 14 points, which was a very disappointing effort. Again, Jalen Brunson had 29, didn't shoot well at all. But, he made some big shots in the fourth quarter there to get them back into it. And that was really key. Miles Bride, also, he made some big shots. He had 4 3-pointers off the bench. Was a key part of this win, definitely, for sure. So all in all, it was a very good all-round team win for the Knicks. I don't think any one player was the dominant player. Jalen and OG. You probably could give the game ball to OG Anunoby actually, and then you could say that Jalen would be next. But it was an all-round great effort by the Knicks. Superb team effort. You know, they really kept Boston out the paint. And this sets them up well for game 2 moving forward. As you look at the Boston Celtics, I mean, the biggest disappointment for them that sticks out for me was that they attempted 97 shots and 60 of them were from three-point line. So over 60, basically 65% of your shots, 63% of your shots are coming from downtown. Is a good recipe if you hit them, but it's also a very risky recipe because once you start missing, you know, you're gonna definitely struggle. They only made 15 of them from downtown, which is 25%. And once you shoot 25%, shooting that many shots, you know, you're not gonna be great. Guys like Jason Tatum, he took 15 threes. Derek White took 16 threes. Jaylen Brown, he took 10 threes. And between them, they only made like 10 of those. So they were like 10 of 41 from downtown, which is not gonna get it done at all. So the key for them will definitely be they have to shoot, but I mean they're built on the three, so they're not gonna stop shooting threes. They have to keep shooting threes. So the key for them is to shoot better downtown, create better shots. Jrue Holiday had a nice strong game, and going into game 2, this is basically a must-win for Boston. You can't be at home here having home court advantage and drop both games. But having lost a 20-point lead in this game, one has to wonder how damaging that will be to the psychological nature of the Boston Celtics going forward in this series. So it will be very interesting to see how they recover from this poor ending to this game. I'm sure they're wondering what happened because they thought they had it in the bag. But great win for the New York Knicks. Sets them up well. They're now up 1. We'll see how this works going forward. Thank you for joining us for our first video. Peace, and I'm out.